Join us for the BMW 3 Series as M340i. Let's go! That's 100 already, wow. Please subscribe to us if you haven't done so far. Here the all-new BMW 3 Series is a little bit wider than the previous generation, and here this M340i has special cerium grey, that's how they call it, color here around the double kidney, and also this mesh style grille. So yeah, that looks really sporty, also a sportier lower bumper. And the headlamps, they come standard as LED. Optional, you can get adaptive LEDs, and optional, the laser light, which you can also see here as we have those blue accentuations, and a modern daytime running light. So I recently heard there was a drinking game when you watch Autogefuehl with friends. If I walk in from the front, actually like this, or if I come in from the rear, so from which side. So if you're watching Autogefuehl as a group, yeah, that's a cool drinking game, you know, whatever you want to drink. So, but now, clearly, with the side profile, let's begin with the length of 4.70 meters, 15'4" or 185 inches. And that's actually 8.5 centimeters longer than the 3 Series predecessor. Here, of course, the M340i. It's no different. Classic sedan shape. And I can also announce to you that the M340i will also be available as the Touring. That will then be most important for Germany and the UK. This one here is sedan, predominantly then, for example, told you earlier, for the US and Canada, and also pretty famous in Australia, for example. South Africa as well. Then cerium grey accentuations here also at the side mirrors. Very beautiful M logo, because this one is the M Performance model. You remember, the M Performance model are, so to say, the M Light variants, and the true Emeralds then, you know, with even more power. Also in the rear, the M340i follows a rather elegant, sporty style. So not too much attention to everything. In general, the new 3 Series has those horizontally drawn tail lamps. So where you see this new generation, oh yeah, that's the new 3 Series, is mainly the tail lamps if you compare it to the predecessor. Then the M340i gets this additional small lip there in the vehicle color, and the cerium grey accentuations in the lower part. Then those beauty tips here on the outside, the real exhaust on the inside. For the new 3 Series, you can get 2-liter 4-cylinders and 3-liter 6-cylinders, both petrol and diesel. There's also the new 2-liter petrol-based PHEV, but this one here, a true 6-cylinder petrol engine, 3-liter of displacement, and here with 374 horsepower in the M Performance model 340i, M340i. Acceleration figure is 4.4 seconds to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour as sedan, or 4.5 then as Touring, because the Touring is just a little bit heavier, but you know, you won't feel big of a difference. X-Drive, so the all-wheel drive with rear-wheel bias, so you should still get, you know, quite sporty out of the corners. We'll see how that one plays out in our driving part. Really looking forward to that. This is the key, slim and light, and the M colors here at the side. Of course, also keyless entry available when you put your finger just here on those You could call them also vortex generators. Those 3 lines, well, not really, but they look like it. And then put your hand on the inside to open it. Door closing sound. Yeah, that sounds quite solid, like that. Then inside of the doors, also soft and plush materials here on the top. Hofmeister King design element, also at the inside of the doors. All buttons galvanized, so high quality. Also place for some reasonable bottles right there. Optional Harman Kardon sound system, so that gives you nice sound. M340i entry badge, and also sporty aluminum pedals. Together with the M Sport steering wheel, which can also be heated. Yay! Nice function for the winter time. BMW Live Cockpit means they also come with the all digitalized stuff, left and right. Soon more deals to that. And seats, those ones here are the optional animal skin seats. But as a base M340i, you would get a nice mix of sustainable Sensatec leatherette and on the inside some Alcantara. I would also go for those ones if you have it available in Germany and most European markets. They are available. Stick with those that you get as base. And the equipment might depend from market to market which you can actually get. But in all cases, you will get already sportier seats than with the base 3 Series versions. However, they are not necessarily less comfortable. The seating form is sporty, yes, they hold a little bit tighter, but they still offer decent comfort also for taller people. I'm 1m86 or 6'1". Yeah, if you have subscribed, you know that. If not, you know it right now. Now, and there's still plenty of headroom left. Left side of the steering wheel set the cruise control. And yeah, those are not those cheap rubber buttons here anymore. This is now hard plastic, but it feels actually better than the soft rubber stuff. You can set the distance in here, optional ACC, the adaptive cruise control, also with this highway pilot mode. Depending on the market, it works more or less. It just depends on the regulations. A car can do more than some of the regulations allow in some markets. And on the right side, you can use the voice command. If you don't say hello BMW, just click this button or pick up the phone and so on, or adjust the volume. This is the interior overview. Most of the stuff is just special to the new 3 Series and not exactly for the M340i. Of course, a little bit more stuff you have already included, like the BMW Live Cockpit. So left side 12.3-inch digital instruments. Soon more deals to that. Right side 10.25-inch screen right there, horizontal style, and everything's really crystal clear to read. Pretty amazing. Soft touch at the top of the dashboard. Optional head display, also soon more deals to that. Again, this M Sport steering wheel with a nice grip. And also a lot of controls we also told you earlier. Infotainment system up close. That's the main menu. You can also go to the GPS and it looks like this. And this is pretty responsive, and I really like the software they are using. Also clear to read and also guides us always in the right direction. And again, the hotkey to go back to the map or the main menu in the lower middle console, that's always possible. Phone either via Bluetooth or wireless Apple CarPlay. Sometimes it takes a while to connect it, but then it's there and you can very well use it here. See, the integration is also all the way all over. Then this optional sound system does actually a very decent job. And it's a good surround sound. Wow. Crystal clear, very crisp, very nice. Wow. Instruments, those digital ones like this, pretty clear to read and also easy as for the orientation. In the middle, there's then space for the GPS info, for example. You can also get those in there. And there's also a reason why the RPMs go counterclockwise. And if Jonas wants, he can also rev it up a little bit. Whoa, yeah, way to go, Jonas. In the rear, it's always very interesting how they cut out the glass right here, and they also protect it here with a rubber lip. Then, right there, also soft touch at the inside of the doors in the rear. Yeah, I mean, it's an expensive car, then we can also expect that. Blue contour stitches right there, but also at the seats. Yeah, Jonas always wants to move onto the seats, but, here we go. So also those blue contour stitches. And do you see this typical 3 Series bench form? So how everything is like rounded in the lower area and the bench goes all the way through. If I remember the E30 of my grandparents, it's the same style. So yeah, some retro form of the rear bench. It's always to me an interesting finding. And what about the space we have here? Well, in the predecessor 3 Series, I could hardly sit here. Now the car is a little bit longer, so I can sit here also as a tall adult. Yeah, maybe I could drive with the seat a little bit more upright like this. That it would be a little bit more realistic. It fits, but we have to think about it's not the best package overall. So considering, you know, this mid-size segment here, and it's almost the same with the other competitors, the length is already, you know, considerably, but the space you have on the inside is a little bit disappointing. Again, it works for 4 tall adults, but it's also not plenty of space. Headroom, you can also put a hand over my head, that's no problem. So you can also live with that, and it's actually quite cozy in here. Again, not the most comfortable one in the rear here, but you can surely live with 4 tall adults, as I said. Trunk space is at 480 liters, but of course, if you want to go more flexible, then you can take the touring, so the estate version. Well, not in the US and Canada, that's sad. So you just stick with this one here. Of course, limited as for loading in here, but then they have increased the trunk space if you compare it to the predecessor version. And for the launch control, we put it in sports mode, put it into the D, of course, then manual shifting mode, and then also the additional traction mode. And please don't do this at home kits. So we just wait until there's no car, no traffic whatsoever, and then we'll accelerate it out just a little bit for you, because that's good to see here with the all-wheel drive. Brakes all full with left. That's 100 already. Wow. Wow, that was cool. And safe and collected because of that all-wheel drive. And I mean, at the side there was even, you know, like some small cobblestones and so on. So there was a loose ground, and still, you know, how well this car accelerated and how stable it was by doing that. That was really amazing. So, wow. Pretty impressed. I mean, we had cars that had even harsher performance and so on, but again, this how they could keep this performance in a safe way, you know, that is, I think, the really interesting thing about this car. And then if you think about, yeah, due to this all-wheel drive, it's not the super purest BMW experience, but then again, for most of the customers, this one will be better and safer, you know, when they have great performance, but yet in a, let's say, controlled way. And most of the times, you know, you won't go to this traction mode, leave all the EC in place. So if you are on the street, just a normal road, then you leave all those helpers active. That's the best thing you can do. And yeah, overall, I mean, you can have a lot of fun with this car, definitely. And to some cruising features, everyday driving life, for example the motorway. We have a blind spot monitor, which is a very important option. There we go with the yellow triangle right there when the car is about to overtake you. Then we also have the adaptive cruise control. Even with this highway pilot, which is activated at the moment, it keeps you in the lane. You're supposed to keep your hands on the steering wheel at all times. This is just for demonstration purpose. The car really keeps me straight. This is well done. So if you see here, it automatically corrects. So that's a quite cozy function, and it works, you know, very smoothly. And it also doesn't have too many moments where it has like those false positives. Yeah, if something goes very straight for a very, very long time, then maybe. But overall, pretty happy with this system overall. And the autonomous emergency brake, that is of course then standard equipment for a car like this. And also here at 120 kilometers an hour, or about 70 miles per hour, it's actually pretty silent in here, so very cozy. That's also something they have improved here with this new 3 Series generation. And this engine here, if you keep it steady like this is also a good example what would be the minimum consumption. They can score some 7 liters on 100 kilometers, which would be 34 mpg US, 41 mpg UK. Of course, if you hammer it out a little bit more, then it rather goes like 9 liters 100 kilometers, and then lower mpg figures, then of course, yeah, then something
below 30 and of course below 40, and as for the UK figures. So it really depends on your throttle, definitely.
And now to our conclusion for today with the BMW 3 Series as M340i. Yeah, finally we could do this one here as a full review, also on the road. One of the earliest parts we did with the 3 Series was driving this one here as a prototype on the racetrack, so you should also tune into that review. And also to all the other 3 Series videos we've done if you searching for a particular version. Or maybe you were just searching for this one, then you were right here. So overall, I think the exterior, yeah, very nice. Probably the nicest ones we've seen today because, this mesh grille is something very special and it looks a little bit sportier than the other versions. Just, not over the top. So still this sporty, elegant look. That's also what I like. What about you? Interior also really refined. If you compare it to the predecessor, they have really stepped up the game in the interior build quality. Also, as standard, you can get those nice Alcantara fabric seats, at least in Europe. SensorTech alternatives are also available in US and Canada. So overall, also good choices they have here. Head-up display, we can also really see it from the outside. So a lot of elaborate functions you already have here. You don't have to go a segment above to the 5 Series. Already the 3 Series is offering everything you might need. That's today even with the 1 Series, with the all-new model, that you get all the infotainment features and so on. Driving-wise, of course, that was the most important part for today. Yeah, it's not a rear-wheel drive only model, the X-Drive, to get this power to the ground. This is actually, on the one hand, sportier because you have a better acceleration and so on, and you're also safer in, let's say, wet conditions. On the other hand, a 3 Series is more purist when it has just a rear-wheel drive, and I felt that, for example, when driving the PHEV model, which was really fun to drive because it was rear-wheel drive only. And that's also speaking for a different horsepower variant where you just have the rear-wheel drive. However, still a rear-wheel bias, that you still have a sporty feeling here in this car. So if you want, let's say, most performance, but the true M model, which will come at a later stage, is maybe a little bit, too much for you. And this one here even performed as a prototype on the racetrack and was super much fun to ride. In general, in this mid-size segment, the new 3 Series is one of the most fun to drive. That's also why people still go for it. I would also prefer to the big diesel because that is, just a little bit more fun to drive. And the big diesel was also not that, that good in the fuel economy as I would have hoped. So yeah, this one is still a hot pick, especially in the US and in Canada. The only thing is that, especially at this one, the price gets really high. Base price here in Germany, 60k. Then if you pick some more extras, the car here today, 80k. Wow, so 80,000 euros here. And that's a tough pill to swallow, definitely, even though it was a lot of fun to go for this one. Which 3 Series model would I actually go for? So far, I really have to say that I found the PHEV very, very interesting. So that would at the moment still be my hot pick. Although, with the color and with the design and the power, this was of course also a very nice ride here today. What do you think? Tell me your favorite new 3 Series model and also browse our other videos here, as we link in the video description and also in the pinned comment. And I hope you stay subscribed, or subscribe if you haven't done so far. Join us here with our community with a very positive but also sometimes critical attitude when it comes to certain features about the cars. But the good thing is, there's no BS here on our channel, not in the comments. We are a very good community and I hope you have joined us already. And if not, join us and see you next time.